Hey guys, welcome to video 2 of Piercing Truth. My name is Charles Pierce. I wanted to let you know a little bit about my testimony about Christ and what he had done for me. Well, I basically want to talk about when I was 17, and it was the senior year of high school, and it was my second paying job, and I worked at a ice cream store that made burgers and chicken fried steak and stuff like that. And a situation happened where a natural spring of water kept on coming through the bottom of the building, and the managers were trying to cut corners, and the water would come up to the ankles, and they would try to cover it up, and somewhat dishonest if it sounds like it so far, but yeah, it was dishonest what they were trying to cover up. But the problem was, I was a cook, and one day I came to work, and the oil trays were full, and they needed to empty it, but they wouldn't, and they said, "You're going to do what I tell you, and you're going to continue to work." And the water was still, a problem. And in the middle of the day, the guess what? The oil mixed with water, and I slipped. And when I landed on the ground, I landed on the vertebrae above my hip, and I went unconscious. And let's just say that when I became conscious, I was the most amazing pain I've ever felt. And they pretty much shooed the customers out of the building, and they put me in a booth, and they wouldn't call an ambulance, and they wouldn't do anything, but they said, you're going to sign these papers, or we won't call an ambulance. And they pretty much forced me to sign it. But then they made me to stand while they were calling their managers, and the pain in my back became worse, and I felt a crack in my back. Which that was the beginning of 3 months or 3.5 months of paralysis. Apparently, I had a broken spine because of the injury. It had a crack when I had landed, and when they made me stand, there was a break in it. And I had never experienced anything like it in my life. Um, they tried to throw medicine at me, and I couldn't do it because I didn't want to feel like I was dead, just staring at a ceiling. Because they kept on telling me if I took the medicine that I may become addicted, and I didn't want to do that. But I felt the pain. But I also knew God had a reason for everything. And so I endured it. I didn't like it, obviously. But what happened was, after 3.5 months of praying and going to the doctors and other situations connected to that, um, the Lord decided to do something amazing. What he did is he told my mom, "Go ahead and lay him out on a bed and put on some worship music and worship me." And so my mom said, "Okay." So she laid me out on the big bed of the house, and just started worshiping the Lord. And I started worshiping the Lord, and I said out loud, "Lord, it says in your word, by Jesus' stripes I'm healed," and I believe that. And I give this situation, and my body is yours to do with. You can do whatever you want. And as I said that, what felt like a warm, cool blanket just came over the room. And what felt like a hand came back and forth through my body for about 15 minutes. And I could feel and hear the bones in my body crack into place. All the parts of my body that had felt pain felt like the whooshing of, when you stick your hand inside of warm bath water, and you stick your hand and go back and forth with it. It was that the whooshing feeling throughout your body, but except it was a cool, just wipe over through you, like a cool pool of water just flowing through you. And it was amazing. I was crying because the pain was away. It was going away. It was disappearing. And I was just amazed that I was not feeling any pain, not one little bit. And then I could hear, as if I'm talking to any person, I heard a voice say, "Get up, walk, you're healed." And I said, "What?" And I heard, "Get up." So I was thinking, okay. So what I did is I sat up, and I could definitely sit up for the first time in 3.5 months. And I got up and I stood up on my feet, and I pretty much ran around the house all night. See, every month, like every week of the month, they had me on a Wednesday go into the MRI office, and they stick me into the MRI for about an hour and scan me up. And the next day was a Wednesday. And so I walked in that office, of course, tired and weak because I hadn't walked for 3.5 months, but I had no pain. I just couldn't walk very well. But they had me in that machine for about 3 hours. Had about 6 doctors in there going over and over on the questions. They'd talk to me through the little mic, and it was fascinating because they'd ask me questions over and over, say, "What happened to you?" And I said, "Jesus healed me." And they pulled me out of the machine, and all the doctors had gone back to their business. And it was just that one doctor, and they brought me into that room, and they had a biography of my spine on the wall. And they went through all the lists of what they did from first scan all the way to the present day. And they said, "This was last week. We were going to tell you we were never going to walk again. It was a impossibility. But what you have here on this wall that I'm looking at right now, we had scanned several times, and there is nothing wrong with your spine. You have a brand new spine. All you have to do is do the physical therapy to get the muscle strength back." And I said, "Let's do it." And to this very day, I believe that anything good can happen. It was very sad to say that I had to have an injury, and bad things did happen in that circumstances. But God shined through the circumstances that I was in and showed himself through me. And then he healed me. And in my own point of view, I know for sure that faith is a contributing factor to healing, whether it be in the physical body or in the heart or in the mind. And if you go into the Bible and even that lady in the streets who grabbed for Jesus' cloak, in her faith, she said, "If I could just touch the edge of his cloak, I will be healed." And anything like that can happen, even today. I just think that the sin of this world that is out there, it blinds us from even conceiving that as possible. And it doesn't have to be a physical healing. It could be your heart or mind. But I know anything good can happen, and Christ can do it. I know this is a witness to what happened to me. That is what Jesus did inside of me and for me. And that's even on top of saving my soul from hell itself. And I don't deserve any of it. So think about that. The piercing truth. It really gets to the center of the subject, whether it be in everyday life or just an argument, I'm sure, that'll be out there in this world. Everybody goes through stuff. But Jesus will always shine through it all.